Let's talk a little bit about these political coins, or you and I were trying to come up with different names, celebrity coins or
I would call it, celebrity coins are like, I was thinking about that while you were talking and setting the stage, so sorry to interrupt, but I feel like persona coins has a nice ring to it, and that's a broader term. Again, I'm making this up. Maybe someone already has established that term and I'm not aware, but let's just say like, whoever and wherever you are, if that's the case, like, cool.
But basically, what we're saying is there's different categories of coins, right?
So political coins, so there's, for those that are or maybe aren't aware, there's Trump. There isn't Biden, at least I'm aware of, but we'll get to that.
There is. I think it's like Joe Budden or something like that.
Joe Budden. There's Bowden, but I'll get into that in a second. And then there's Trump is probably the largest, like proper, like based on their name, political coin, but there's plenty more there. And even under political coins, there's derivatives of that. So we just touched upon that, but instead of Biden, which I don't believe there's a Biden, or at least a very notable one, let's say in the like 500 million market cap or 200 or something like that, there's Bowden, right? You heard that, right? Boden. So Bowden. And that sort of sub-genre of political coins actually has quite proliferated a lot. So Trump has the sort of derivative version called TREMP. Again, you heard that, right? TREMP. And not only are the names and tickers a derivative of the actual persona or politician, they are the visual representation, which is, again, you could do your own research. I'll just leave it at that. The visual representation is very poorly drawn, very comically drawn, and sort of represents the fact that it's misspelled, right? So going back to the fact that it's a meme, the spelling represents the ticker, which represents the sort of fact that it's a meme coin off of that individual, right? If that sort of makes sense, going back to the dog with hat breakdown, right? It really matches the fact that it's spelled wrong. The visual representation, the poorly drawn drawing of the sort of caricature of Biden and Trump respectively are terrible, but hilarious, which is why the meme catches on, right? Mm-hmm. So there's a lot more characters, let's say, that also follow that sort of blueprint. So that's like political coins, whatever it's called, celebrity coins. I'm making it up literally live on this episode, so that's fun. Persona coins, let's say, just famous individuals that, not a politician or anything, but they're just popular celebrities. So there's like Ye, based off Kanye, Taylor Swift, other memes, of course, and other things. So that's very interesting. So that's another sort of subgenre of this, not just like a pure meme, but the fact that there's a coin becomes a meme in itself in a way. Then there's culture coins, where I would say Farcaster has more of that, and it has a much richer ecosystem of that, may or may not be sustainable. But the most popular and most reputable one right now on Farcaster is Degen, of course. Mm-hmm. Another one that I was recently exposed to, and I claimed it's worth very little, if anything, but they claim to be the first meme coin on the Zora L2 network, called Enjoy. So it's just basically the meme is based off the word enjoy. So you could be, if you understand the space, and enjoy and then there's just different fun pictures that people create based off that. So that's like a culture coin in the sense that it's more like a vibe, right? Like you're not like a picture, you're not a person, you're just like a vibe, right? So that's one way to think about culture coins. And there's actually plenty of meme coins that are based on a movement or a brand. So for example, a very popular one that still today is worth at least 100 to 200 million, which is crazy to think about in terms of market cap, is Zyn, which is basically a oral nicotine brand, not made by Zyn, the company or brand, but just someone created Zyn coin. And there's, a lot of people in the finance and I guess crypto space that are huge users and fans of Zyn, the product. So they're like, I love Zyn. This has nothing to do with Zyn, but I'm going to buy some, right? Another one, as an example, obviously older ones like Mog is another one. Oh, there's another that escaped my tongue. But the the Stanley Cup meme, which had its moments as a product, is also a very popular meme coin. Very volatile, of course, but that really goes to the cultural aspect of it. So pretty wild.
Well, you mentioned also Apple before the show. I want to mention that one. Tell us about Apple. Is it Apple? Is that how you say it? Or you told me it was based on Apple, which is a publicly traded company. and now there's a meme coin based.
I don't even know what to call this one because a whole like, I don't want to keep going on like labeling it something because maybe that'll come. But if I like company coins, but like there is already public stocks. This is not officially sanctioned or approved by the company itself. But Apple is interesting. It's spelled AABL, based off literally the company Apple. And if I were to give you a minute to imagine what the logo is, I'll just spill the beans. The logo is an apple facing the other direction with a bite taken out of it, right?
No way. No way.
Yeah, that's it, right? And the sort of images that I don't know who the team is that puts behind it on the account, they're hilarious. They just sort of make fun of, they're inspired, let's say, and they're very memey in regards to they take certain famous quotes, or they might have like an Apple app logo, but then they put, the Apple logo on it. They might have like a caricature of Steve Jobs with the quote, "Think different." And then it's an Apple logo, right? So it just makes fun of a lot of this stuff. So it's become, again, very volatile, but it's become more popular over the past couple of weeks because of the meme behind it and the fact that it's sort of attached to the company Apple, right? And a very simple example of how this could be impacted, and again, this is more about the attention economy within this subculture and this space, but there still is a tie to the real world, so to say. And in the case of Apple, it's tied to Apple in the sense that, as a simple example, if they had their earnings report tomorrow and their earnings was a beat, maybe a significant beat, I'd be very confident that the price, not only of Apple stock, would go up in the after hours and the following trading days, but the Apple meme coin price would go up because of that positive sentiment, right? So I think there's a lot to learn in regards to the intention economy, how this is all intertwined, and what's sort of happening in those sort of intentional and unintentional, at least from the sort of, let's say, Biden doesn't really care about the meme coin, but indirectly there's things that happen. Apple doesn't care about Apple, but Apple does have this correlation and impact related to the meme that it's based off of, right? So when you think about, okay, well, I'm a business person or I'm a builder, what does this have to do with anything? And attention economy and all those things. One, it's just to be aware of these interaction effects. Two, how can you sort of think about memes in general to sort of help your product, right? A lot of it is based on just understanding how the culture, how the sort of consumer base in terms of users, but even if you're a B2B business, right, and want to just get more attention in this space, play with these interaction effects and what happens in regards to creating a piece of content, whether it's a meme, it's a piece of content in regards to something more serious or a thread, right? How do you make it more memeable? Right. And what's actually really interesting is when someone is retweeting or reposting or replying or quote posting or quote tweeting, or maybe taking an excerpt, just like you did from a piece I wrote two years ago, you were quoting something, right? That in itself, I wouldn't say is a meme, but they are using sort of the proliferation aspect of it, right? How do you make something more shareable, more viral? And if it's a funny piece of content or one that maybe has legs in a different way than something a more serious piece of content, there is a memetic aspect that people can take from, right? Simple example where regardless of where you operate in the space or what your product is, B2C, B2B, you could just have an image or a sentence, right? If it's just written and write a sentence, "I like blank," right? Fill in the blank. You might get some replies. That in itself can be a meme in itself. Or maybe it's more related to your product. You go follow that formula and format, right? Call, response. So I think there's a lot to learn in regards to those interaction models that are often brushed aside or maybe scoffed at from maybe a more professional point of view. But how do you use that to grow your social account? How do you use that to get more replies from prospective customers? How do you use that to proliferate an idea, an image, a slogan for that matter?